All right, it's 2:30. We'll get started here with Coach Niumatalolo. Again, I apologize for the late cancellation of Kip Franklin at 1:30. Unfortunately, I'm not as higher ranking as the commandant, so I lose. So again, apologize for that. We just found out at the last minute he couldn't make it. So first time through for Coach, we'll go 2 questions each just to make sure everyone at least gets 2 questions, and then I'll circle back around. First time through also, if you don't mind telling Coach who you are and what organization you represent, just so he knows who he's talking to. We'll start off with Bill Wagner of the Annapolis Capital.
Hey, Kenny. Bill Wagner from the Capital newspaper and the Baltimore Sun. How did you approach the bye week? How much did you devote to East Carolina, and how much did you just devote to trying to improve your own team?
A big part of it is improving ourselves, Wags. You know what I mean? Just, we got to get better, you know what I mean? And just a lot of the fundamentals, just the stuff, a lot of it was focused on getting ready ourselves and getting better as a football team.
And did you feel you did that?
You hope so. You know what I mean? You try to do that. You get some workouts, lift, you practice. You know, I thought our practices were pretty physical. But, you know, you hope we got better as a football team. And, you know, sometimes they come at a good time to buy, sometimes at a bad time. We weren't really banged up, so to speak. You know, after losing, you like to try to play to get that bad taste out of your mouth. But we tried to do the best we could with it, just try to improve on ourselves and get better as a football program.
Let's go to Stephen Igo.
Coach Stephen, I cover East Carolina for 24/7 Sports. Just curious, obviously you've matched up with Mike Houston's team dating back to 2019, which was his first year. From your perspective, how have you kind of seen this East Carolina program grow over that time?
Yeah, Mike's done a great job. He's a great football coach. You can see his culture and their team, tough, hard-nosed, fundamentally sound. They play hard. Mike Houston team, you just see it, just the way they play, how hard they play, super disciplined. They don't beat themselves. I mean, he's done a really good job with the program.
Do you have a second one, Stephen?
I do not. I'm good.
Okay. Scott Wyckoff.
Hey, Coach. Scott Wyckoff from WBAL Radio and the Navy Radio Network. What's the message this week? Is there a theme that you guys have been looking to put into place during practice heading up to the game on Saturday?
Yeah, we're trying to get one. You know what I mean? We're just trying to do all, you know, obviously we want to get our first win, but more important than win, we just got to focus on ourselves, the everyday things that we do as a Navy football team. We got to take care of the ball, got to play with elite efforts. You know, we got to play physical, just all those things that we've always done. That's been our message. Just do your job and do it well.
What's impressed you with quarterback Holton Ahlers over the 3+ seasons that you've watched him both live and on tape?
Has it only been 3 years?
No, this is his 5th.
He's like, he's been there a long time. I was like, man, that dude's still there. I mean, he's a really good player. Really, really good. I mean, he looks like an NFL quarterback. You watch him on tape, you don't realize how big he is till you see him on the field. I mean, he's bigger than our outside linebackers. I mean, he's a big dude, smart, composed. Obviously, he's been in the system now for a while, so you know he's playing really well. They're playing really well, but he played well every year that we played him. You know, the one year he was out, but really good football player, smart, headsy, accurate, can throw the football, can move, physical. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a shot on Sundays. I mean, he's got all the tools. I mean, he's big, like I said, smart, can throw, can run. I wish he wasn't there still. I look like, man, that guy's coming back, but you know, he's a really, really good player.
Thanks, Coach.
Patrick Mason. All right, we'll go ahead to Joe Miller.
Hey, Coach. Joe Miller, Navy Radio Network. I know you talked about this some in the preseason, but I wanted to get your thoughts, sort of evaluation 2 weeks into the season, you guys had put an emphasis on special teams, where you thought you were at on the special team side of things, and just some things that you think maybe you need to improve on or get better on as the season progresses as far as the special teams are concerned.
Right now, of our 3 phases, that's probably the most consistent phase right now. Just our special teams. We haven't played well either week on offense, So I thought we played really well the first week on defense, not so great the second week. And I thought we've been pretty solid the first 2 weeks in special teams. So been pleased so far. Hopefully we'll get Bijan back. We'll see. Riley's been punting the ball well. But that's probably been the one consistent phase of our team, football team right now.
My other question would be, do you change the way you prepare for a game based on your record, or is that sort of, you don't want to get off your schedule and you just kind of stick to where you're at?
No, you always look at stuff, Joe. You always look at things. You're always tinkering and tampering and looking at stuff. Do less of this, more of that, more emphasis on this, more emphasis on that. It's especially when you're not playing well. You know what I mean? So you're trying to see what that magic formula is. You know what I mean? Just you're constantly tinkering. So you talk as a staff a lot. Kind of look at your strengths, your weaknesses. Just kind of go from there. But yeah, there's nothing's ever set in stone. Now, when you are winning, then you try not to, ruffle feathers too much. But when you're struggling like this, you look at everything.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Joe.
Philip Pilkington. Philip, you have anything? All right, let's go to Phil Bergman.
Coach Phil Bergman, Navy Sports, NavySports.com. Going back to last season, the team's won 3 of its last 4 on the road. Where do you think this road success comes from?
I think sometimes, especially at a service academy, you kind of just, the demands of being a midshipman are so strenuous, so demanding. I think kind of getting off the yard a little bit to just kind of take a deep breath. I think that helps. It's nobody but you and your teammates on the road, so you learn how to focus. It's you against the opponent and their crowd. And so I think that's a lot of it has to do just sometimes just getting off the yard. It's kind of rejuvenating for our guys just to kind of get a breath of fresh air.
That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
WITN. Jay.
I'm all set. Thanks, Scott.
Okay. Pete Medhurst.
Sorry, I had to take myself off mute. Coach, you mentioned earlier looking at strengths and weaknesses. If you have a strength right now through 2 games, what is that you and the coaches have been able to identify?
Oof. Like you said, it's hard when you're 0-2 to think. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff you have to work on. Maybe if one group, maybe the D-line, inside linebackers. The striker position has been pretty solid with John Marshall. And so we've been so up and down, though, you know what I mean? So I don't know if there's been a consistent group, so to speak, right now, but probably playing better than other portions of our football team, maybe the outside linebackers.
Almost like we have some telepathy there, and you led me to my next question. I was going to talk about those 3 guys up front. You obviously moved Clay, so you can get him on the field with Donald at the same time, but he and Jake and Donald so far have seemed to have some moments, certainly some moments of flash. Right now, assess that group as a unit, and are they playing, to the level that, and setting the standard that obviously you're hoping that every guy on this team does right now?
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job. They've played well for D-line with Clay and Biscuit and Busick, and Nolan's come in there with Creedon and different guys have come in there, and Justin Reed. But we've held up pretty good against the run. We gave up a long run later on late in the Memphis game, but we've been pretty solid against the run. And a lot of that has to do with the D-line, that they've been doing a lot of good things. But they'll be the first to tell you, Coach, Hall will be the first to tell you they can play better, but they've been pretty solid. Probably of the groups, that's probably right. Them and the outside linebackers have done a lot of good things.
To that extent, great challenge this week. Obviously, a quarterback that's played a lot of football games and two backs that certainly excel at a high level. What is it about this East Carolina group, as you've observed now over the years, where Mike has built that talent level up that has now allowed them really, when you look at the league right now, they're as good as anybody to be a contender in November when this thing is all decided?
Yeah, they don't seem to beat themselves. When you got a veteran quarterback like that, even last year, they had a lot of close games, but there are some games that, I can't remember which game it was, but they converted 21 of 25 third downs or something like that. I mean, some high number. And they did the same thing with us. They kept, they played keep away against us last year. And we normally do that to other people. It was the game was in the 30s last year scoring, but we only had 50 plays. And even for us, it's like a service academy game. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of that has to do with holding the quarterback, that he just does a really good job not beating themselves. He puts the ball where it needs to be. He exploits your weaknesses. If you give him something, he's going to take it. He's not greedy and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just, he's impressive to watch. Headsy, smart decision maker. And that's the number one quality of a quarterback, just decision making, and he has it. And plus he's got all the physical gifts. So that's been the biggest thing, Pete. Just they don't beat themselves. And that's was our mantra for a long time. Don't beat ourselves, but that's what's been impressive. Physical, don't beat themselves, make you beat them. They had every chance to win their first game. And so super impressed that way.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, we'll just go quickly around the horn again. Ask whatever you need. Wags.
Coach, with the offense struggling, do you feel that maybe personnel changes are in the offing?
Yeah, you look at everything, Wags. I mean, you look at everything. You look at personnel, you look at schemes, look at the way you're practicing. Yes, I mean, it's when you're struggling, you look at everything, Wags. Definitely, everything's on the table.
So, obviously, I mean, one win changes the entire outlook. Right now, though, the fan base is all down, but all it takes is a nice win. The offense gets back to normal. I mean, is that kind of what you preach, that it's not doom and gloom? It's 2 games into the season.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and that's all part of it. You know what I mean? Just the other stuff, you can't focus on that. You just got to focus on yourself. And like you said, Wags, you just got to move on to the next game. I shared the example with them. It just, I had a personal example with my son last year. He played for Utah. So they lose their opening game to BYU. It'd be like losing the Army. I mean, you lose your rivalry game, and then they lose to San Diego State. You know what I mean? So they had 2 losses early in the season. They came back and went to the Rose Bowl on the Pac-12. And so it's a long season, man. Nobody even remembers that. Nobody even remembers, they just saw, Utah playing the Rose Bowl in a high-scoring game versus Ohio State. That's whatever they are, number 3 in the country right now. But they had 2 losses early in the season. And so you just got to stay the course in sports, in life, but nobody likes losing it. So it all comes with the territory. We're not mad at our fans or anything like that. We got to play better. It's understandable is what I'm saying, Wags. And I'd be disappointed too if I was a fan, you know what I mean? So, but, we're just going to keep fighting, Wags.
And lastly, from me, is there any one thing you can put your finger on about the offense, or do you think it's multiple items?
That's the hard part, just trying to put our finger on it. And so we've had a lot of discussions. We feel like we have some answers, and hopefully those answers pay dividends this week. You know what I mean? But that's what you do every week, Wags. You kind of come back, go back to the drawing board. There have been a lot of drawing boards over the years. Sometimes the drawing boards have been good, and sometimes you wipe it off quickly and drop a new plan. But so we're hopeful that this will be the week. You know, that's just, but like you're exactly right. I mean, this is so up and down. And one win, like you said, turns around everything.
You good, Wags? Phil Bergman.
Coach, Navy doesn't play in too many night games with it being a 6 p.m. start. Do you enjoy playing at night?
If we win, yeah, then you always say, I gotta see what, I don't know. Scott might have how many night games we've done, but sometimes it's good, sometimes bad. And it's the same thing. We always look at our schedule. Did we sit around too much? Did we do too much? You know, over the 15 years, we have, I don't know, maybe 50 or whatever. We have so many travel plans of what we do when we play at night. And when we win, we'll follow that plan for a while. And if we lose, then we'll change that. I told you, we got the kids up too early, or we let them sleep in too long, or, you know, we should have stretched earlier, you know, just, I'll let you know after the game how I feel about playing at night.
Sounds good.
Our last night game was at Tulsa and we won. So.
Oh yeah, I really like playing at night.
Pete Medhurst.
Kenny, if anything, was there something of significance that over the 2 weeks that you've had here, that you've been able to accomplish during the bye week, even if it's something small from a team standpoint, as the bye week gives you that rare chance to kind of ramp down, self-scout, and do some individual stuff to help your guys get better?
I think that's the biggest thing, Pete, being able to self-scout, you know, look at ourselves with a critical eye and just, okay, here's some definite flaws we need to work on, and hopefully we got it remedied. But that's the biggest thing of bye week, just looking at yourself, how you can improve. First of all, us as a staff, what can we do? How can I help our team as a head coach get us ready? Like I said, we spent a lot of time on a lot of things in off season. One of them was special teams, and I'm grateful at least that's paying dividend. And I'm grateful, like I said, we played well on defense the first week, not so great the second week, but I know we'll bounce back. The one we got to get right is the offense. You know what I mean? So we got to find a way to get back to Navy football offense.
You always talk about the kids being resilient. What makes the coaches resilient in a situation like this? So much success this group has had together. How do you keep your confidence level up during a time like this?
So it's a great question. I mean, we've been doing it for so long. I don't know for anybody else. I can only speak for myself. I mean, I hate to lose. I just hate to lose. I mean, you know, it's just so, you just keep coming to work every day. I mean, you know, nights are long. You know, you're always thinking of things. You know, even Straussmar, he thinks of things. He texts me things at night. You know, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, Straussmar is all, but and normally when he texts me, I'm awake. And I go, oh yeah, I saw that game, and yeah, I saw this. But it's just, it's I guess it's your nature, you know, Pete. I think if you don't get in this profession unless you got some grit about you, because if you don't, it'll spit you out in a heartbeat. Because it's not for the faint of heart. And you know, we're all competitors on our staff. You know, I really believe that the coaches that on the staff, Pete, are men of character, and we're going to keep fighting, man. We're not going anywhere. We're here at the Naval Academy producing leaders for our country that are going to fight for our country. We better be able to fight ourselves if we're going to teach them anything. So we ain't going anywhere. We're going to be here.
Sorry if you hit this in the first couple of minutes, but any chance you get your kicker back this week?
We're hopeful, Pete. You know, just that's day by day. You know, cross our fingers, and you know, I was asking Jim Barry, our trainer, what's the latest, and so you know, we'll kind of see. But I'm hopeful, very hopeful that he'll be available.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Pete.
Joe Miller.
I'm good, thank you.
Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, what's your evaluation of the team's effort been through the first couple games and through these practices heading up to ECU?
I thought in our two games, the defense played with great effort. I didn't think we played with great effort on offense the first game. I thought we played with much better effort second game on offense. And so I think for us, the effort level has gotten much better. You know what I mean? And so but still, I mean, there's still the little things that it takes to win. I mean, I think we're down 10-7, driving, late in that second half. And, we got a chance to go 14-10 and we don't get it done. They come down and score. But so a lot of times the effort level is there, but sometimes it's just the little things. And we're a team that we have to do everything right to have a chance. So overall, been okay with our effort, not gloating about it, you know what I mean? But it's been okay. But we still got to get going, keep that going.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Scott.
Steven, I go.
I'm good.
Did I miss anyone? Anyone else have anything else?
Yeah, I got one more actually, if we have time.
Go ahead, Phil.
Coach, as you touched on, you have a thirst to win, and there's a difference between being competitive and that thirst to win. How do you teach guys to get to that next level from being competitive to having that thirst?
Just looking at our kids this year, I've been impressed with them. I mean, they were crushed these last 2 games. I mean, we've been down. I mean, our program's down right now. So, we have to do the best we can as a staff to build them up. But our team's crushed. We got a bunch of competitors in our team. They don't like what happened. It's happened these 2 weeks. They've worked really hard. They put in a lot of effort. And so I think a lot of it is innate. But sometimes, too, if you're around a lot of competitors, then it's hard to be submissive to some of that. But you can't come to the Naval Academy unless you're a fighter and a competitor. It's hard to be a Division I football player. It's hard to be at the Naval Academy. And so some of it have it more than others. And hopefully those that have it more than others, it can permeate to other people. But I feel good from a standpoint that we have a lot of competitors because, we've been walking around wounded. I mean, guys have been licking our wounds. I mean, nobody likes where we're at right now.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.